The Share Pickers Weekend Podcast with Justin, Paddy, Peter and Steve. The content of this podcast is not intended as investment advice. It is for information purposes only. People in this podcast may hold positions in the stocks they talk about. Do not buy anything based solely on a tip or recommendation. Please do your own research.
Welcome to the Weekend Podcast. I'm joined by Stevie. Break even,
Hello.
Stephen. All right, Steve. Are you even breaking even in this market?
It's pretty much. It's pretty much sitting around the same. Every now and then it goes up by a couple of grand, then it goes down by a couple of grand, and it seems to be sitting at the same amount that it has done for the last 6 months.
I'm just tired of this market. It's wearing me down. And it really is wearing me down. But by the way, let's talk about the World Cup first. World Cup football. Have you been watching any of it, Stevie?
No, I'm not into football at all. Although actually, I did watch a little bit of the first Wales game towards the end, but yeah, not really interested.
Yeah, I'm not into football, but I've been watching the World Cup because essentially, Monty, my son, is a big fan of Spurs, and he got a video from Harry Kane because he loves the football. He got his face painted last night watching England. I tell you what, those players are heroes, aren't they? The amount of fouling that goes on, and you can see they're in pain when they go down. You can see it on their faces. They roll around the floor. Unbelievable how they get up and play.
I know.
I'm astounded how they get back up and just a couple of minutes later, they're almost like recovered. But you can tell the fouls are really harsh because their faces are writhing in agony.
It's incredible. Sometimes it's so quick on the camera you can't actually see the boot going into them. It's
exactly,
incredible.
yeah.
Incredible.
The fouling
incredible
must
speed.
be the fouling must be very clever because you're right. When they do those replays, you don't actually see a lot of contact. But they're obviously very hurt because you can see it on their faces, and they'll be down for a few minutes, and then
sometimes less.
Yeah, and then they get the penalty or the free kick, and also the superhuman strength. They put themselves together, get up, and crack on with it, and they are heroes. And I don't think they get paid enough for that kind of game.
Agreed.
I don't think £500,000 or £1 million a week is enough for what they have to go. They're putting their life on the line every time they go on that pitch. And I'm surprised, you don't see many of them in plaster Paris, plaster casts and all that stuff being stretched off because it's a battlefield out there, Steve, And people think rugby's tough. Football is the tough
nothing.
one.
Rugby's nothing, is it?
I know.
Nothing at all.
I've got hats off to these players. Literally, I'm not going to encourage Monty to get into football. It's just too rough. It's so many fouls going on. Fair play, hats off to the guys there. It's phenomenal. And it's every game. There's loads of dirty, nasty, almost death-like fouls, fatal fouls going on. And fair play.
I was just saying to you before we started the podcast, it does seem like at the moment, I haven't really been watching it, so I could be completely wrong on this, but it does seem like all the people who should be winning aren't winning, and the people who shouldn't be winning are winning.
Yeah, well, there's been a couple of surprises, isn't it? The biggest surprise was like Argentina, who's got Messi, who's one of the world's best, lost against Saudi Arabia. Now, when you think of Saudi, you do think of oil and gas, maybe. But you don't think of football. So they beat 2-1, which the Saudis went mad about that, of course. And
with Wales and Iran. I've never heard of Iran as a football team before.
Yeah. What else? Japan beat Germany. Germany, of course, one of the big players. Yeah, but I suppose with Iran, right? The trouble is, England did the Welsh no favours there. They hammered Iran 6-2 in the first game, and then Iran, of course. I don't know if you want to go back to Iran if you've lost a game. That's the trouble, isn't it? You go back there, they may chop your head off or something if you lose a game. So they had to come back. It literally was. I mean, we're talking about being fouled on the pitch, but for them, it literally is life or death. And the fact they didn't sing the national anthem, then they come up against Wales. And what was it? What was the score yesterday? Was it? What was the score, Steve? 2-0. We lost Wales. There's Iran.
2-0.
Oh, Paddy's here.
Oh, I'm glad you come in because we're trying to talk about football and we've got
I noticed that.
Yeah. I'm just saying about the heroics of the players foul. How bad did they get fouled, but they still managed to get up and crack on. It's phenomenal, superhuman strength they have, those players. Really is. And I was just sitting, I did play along. I was watching Monty and the players were going down. So, that's really nasty. Look at him, he must be really hurt. Look at his face, he's in agony, Mont. How can he get back up? That's amazing. Shut up, Dad. I said they should call it foul ball, surely, not football, because it seems these days just play for the foul. That's it. If they have a chance of getting through it, in the box here, it's lethal, isn't it? You're scared to tackle someone in the box because literally they'll go for the penalty. That's the only reason why Wales got a score on the board, was because Bale went down. Professional he was. You imagine how he got back up after that. I don't know. Wow.
Yeah, but he also got fouled.
Let's be honest, Pad. It's hardly like tripped them over or something. They touch your boot and they're rolling like their legs hanging off.
I think what you don't really pick up on TV is the speed that the players move at. And
that's what Steve said. When you get the replays, it's so clever because they've hardly looked, they've touched each other, but they must have hurt each other so much because they roll around in agony on the floor there.
The rolling around is unfortunate, but sometimes if you don't go down in the penalty box, you don't get a penalty. Like you sort of have to go down. That's the way that the referees.
But isn't that the way? That's bad, isn't it? But thinking like that's a tactic. That shouldn't be a tactic. Can I
give an example in the real world? The other day, I was working on a filming job, and I walked into a radiator, and I tell you what, the client did not stop hearing about it for the next 2 hours because I was in agony and I could not walk. That's a real foul.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, it was with a radiator, so...
Did you get a penalty?
Sadly not, no.
How did you walk into a radiator, Steve? At least, with football, there's two moving parts there. The radiator is pretty much static, isn't it?
It was a really badly designed radiator in the middle of the room. Well, it wasn't in the middle of the room. That's odd, that is. A radiator in the middle of the room. Should be against the wall, really.
Well,
it was against the wall, but it wasn't. It was quite far away from... anyway, but yeah, I walked into it. Yeah, right at the shin level, really painful.
Yeah, I suppose there's a difference here, Pad, between regular watchers of football and non-regular, which you get a lot in the World Cup. People don't watch football and you're thinking, come on, guys.
Oh, there's lots of theatricals. Don't worry.
I hate that.
The thing that really annoys me is the someone gets a hand anywhere near someone's face and they're rolling around like they've been shot in the eye.
Yeah. So why do they send people off for that? If people who are going for the penalty when there's no foul being committed,
they are supposed to. Yeah, they're supposed to look back at them. But
send them off.
There's 20 cameras in the stadium, guys. Like you're making yourself look like an idiot.
Well, this is the thing about the what's the replay system called? AVR? VAR. Yeah. So loads of people moan about how that's spoiling the sport, and I'm like, I think it's like, again, I'm not really into sport, but like, I think it's improving the sport because it's making it more accurate of what actually happens. But people are like, oh no, it's all about the sport. It should happen how it happens. And I'm like, well, if that's the case, then that shouldn't happen. Fake fouling.
Yeah. Well, maybe they should show that, and then if it's a fake foul, just put a big clown face on the screen afterwards, and off. The clown is off.
Yeah.
And,
but you then get into a point where every single thing that happens on the pitch gets judged, and then you just have to decide, like, right, are we going to do that in real time, or are we going to wait till after, or like
the amount of fouls, the amount of fouls that go on, the game would last all day, wouldn't it? If you're looking at every sort of foul, every dive and roll, it's just for non-football, it's just so annoying that when I compare it to rugby. It's the opposite of rugby, isn't it? It's literally.
Well, no. What should happen is the players should get punished for when it is a fake one, because then they're less likely to go, oh, there's another one.
But how do you decide it was a fake one? You can only decide that a long time afterwards, so it's just a lot quicker just to let it happen, and then. Like the idea is that in the days after someone's supposed to go back and do that, but I'm not sure that happens particularly well.
But I got to say, it's been odd, right? So England, like I said, did Wales no favours. They hammered Iran. Iran have to come back really and put a fight on, and they did. They beat Wales. Then Wales sort of but drew with USA. So you'd think that England, should be able to sort of hammer USA, but it doesn't work like that. And yesterday, USA put on a good fight. And England looked poor again, didn't they? It didn't look like a world-class World Cup winning side. What do you reckon about that? It wasn't that impressive, Pad, was it, the USA game?
No, it was really boring.
I know.
I had every expectation it was going to be really boring. They were all going to cancel each other out on that one.
Okay. So anyway, what do Wales have to do? They're out pretty much, aren't they? Wales?
I think you've got to beat... You've got to beat them 4-0, haven't you? To have a standard chance.
Beat England 4-0.
Yeah.
Oh, it's got a chance then.
Yeah, there's a chance.
I'd love to see it.
That reminds me of Dumb and Dumber when Jim Carrey asked that a girl about going out.
And I think for sorry, I was halfway through your joke there. Go on.
No, and when Jim Carrey asked that lady if there's a chance they can go out, she said, "What's the chances of us going out?" And she said, about 1,000,000 to 1. And he pauses, and his face thinks about it, and he smiles and goes, so there is a chance. So just go on, Pad.
I was just going to say, I think the Iranian team have been pretty brave. So
yeah,
I would like to see them go through.
And me,
I'd like to see them beat America.
Yeah.
Them going through beating America turns them into national heroes, which means that their voice is even louder, which means that the things they did in the first game, they can do more of that and feel a little bit safer that they're not going to get,
But that's it. I said they are, rather than the guys that just fall on the floor and roll around and pretend, they are guys there. The Iranian team really are, in a life or death situation almost, going back to that country, not singing the national anthem. And, of course, but I think maybe England went too harsh on them. Maybe they should have just got a couple of goals against them or 3 goals rather than 6. But anyway, have you been looking at the markets, guys? Anything happening? I'm just saying to Steve, Padam, I'm really hacked off at it all on markets right now. It's been 18 months, it's been dragging me down. And, sooner or later, I just want to... Part of me says, right, that's it. I'm going to give up now. Stop investing. That's it. I'm not even going to look at the markets for the next 6 months. I know it's impossible for me because it's like crack, the markets to me, But
you want to get into crypto?
yeah. Apparently, it's the future, isn't it?
Yeah. Is Bitcoin going up now or something?
But it's funny how if you see the crypto argument, right? There's all these people when the FTX crashed, and this guy sort of leverage, and he had no real money, but he's buying, leveraging funds and all that stuff, and it crashed and all that. And now, if you look within the crypto world now, the crypto world are sort of distance themselves from exchanges. They say no, Bitcoin is decentralized. Exchanges are centralized. So what you have to understand, Bitcoin is still digital gold because it's not owned by one person and all that stuff. Even though there's some big holders there, so that's. But even though obviously there's contagion there, so Bitcoin's gone down. But but to be fair to Bitcoin, right? I mean, it's hard to be fair to a digital sort of entity. But
don't break its feelings.
It hasn't been hacked in 10 years. Or since it started, it's more than that now. And when you think about the people in the crypto space, most of them, high up, or involved in that space, they're quite computer literate, and they've good. I assume most of them are decent programmers and all that stuff. So if it could be hacked, it would be hacked. So the technology behind Bitcoin is quite clever, isn't it? Yoko Satomochi, the guy who created it, no one knows who he is. It's just a fairy tale story, isn't it? The person that invented it, no one knows his true identity. He just created it as a trustless sort of system where you don't need the central banks and all that stuff. It's quite clever. I'm not saying it probably will rally. I mean, it's dropped from 75 or 60,000 down to 16,000, but hasn't all the markets. Look at Facebook, that's down like 77%. Coinbase is also part of that. It's down by 80-odd%. So there's a lot of big players in the space down by that amount. So, I can understand why Bitcoin bulls are bullish, because they're right. There's no fault of Bitcoin, this isn't. This is the fault of greedy humans that have set up exchanges that basically defrauded people. So that's the problem. It's not Bitcoin. So, anyway. But as bystanders, boys, what's your thoughts on Bitcoin?
I still don't understand it, and I still don't care about it.
No,
I think I have to care about these things to be vaguely in it. I haven't got any money to invest in it anyway, so it's.
I think we summed it up a few weeks ago, didn't we? It was like, I don't think Bitcoin, certainly in the near future, will ever become a currency where I would get paid for and I would use it to buy things. It is literally a collector's item.
Yeah.
And I would never go and buy an antique that potentially could go up in value. So why would I buy Bitcoin? Because I see it as the same kind of thing.
Very good, Steve. Well, there's 2 arguments for Bitcoin, right? One, it's a new currency which you don't have to rely on central banks. And when central banks are in charge, there's inflation. They'll issue more money, so your money becomes worthless over time. And it has basically. If you go back to the 1980s, I think 40 grand is now worth about 10 grand going from 1980 to now in real terms. That's how much the prices have gone up and everything. And so store of value or currency, by the way, but it's gone down like everything else. Store of value. So it's not a currency because it's very hard. It's hard to pay for things. It's very volatile. Things you may pay for now may be more expensive in the future. So it's very volatile. So as a currency, it's not stable enough. And as a store of value, you could argue, well, in the last 5 years now, the NASDAQ has outperformed Bitcoin. So it's not really gone up in value. But having said that, gold hasn't done that much in the last few years. It's gone nowhere. So it may still be, it's still in its infancy as far as an asset is concerned. It's only 10 years old, which is if you look at gold, it's been around forever. So gold has been very volatile. In the first 10 years of gold's life, it was probably very volatile. So yet to remain. It's very interesting, though. Yeah, but you're right. At the moment, the jury's out. But
I'd also not buy gold either. So there you go.
Yeah, exactly. Buy some gold. I know there are people pumping gold as hard as Bitcoin, and they're arguing amongst each other, gold or Bitcoin. Anyway, look at the markets. I don't know if you noticed, which is I don't know why they did this, but eEnergy came up with their preliminary results on Friday evening, which is not good. I don't understand why they do that. Why do traditionally that's been sort of bury the news. It's Friday evening. Now, a lot of the metrics are very good. There's a lot of growth in there, but they've also issued a bond. The bond is, of course, a loan, basically. Now, the good thing is, in this market, it's awful, right? It's going back 12 months. People, like I said, were throwing money at ape pictures on the internet, NFTs. Money was easy to come by. Interest rates were low. The central banks weren't doing quantitative tightening. So people were buying. Justin Bieber paid £1 million for a bored ape picture NFT. £1 million. It just shows at the top of the market, at the end of a bull run, it's very frothy, silly stuff gets money thrown at it. Any company could have raised money going back 12 months very easily, very easily. Now, eEnergy raised, £15 million at 15 pence, 18 months ago to acquire a business. Right now, they've expanded very quickly and they need to raise some more money. And so they've gone via the bond issue. So why did they do a placing? Placings, get flipped a lot. There's things. There's people who take part in the placing who have no care about the company. A bond has been, basically, they've been loaned money from directors and 2 investment houses. So $2.5 million with warrants. Now, the positive thing is, like I said, these companies, have shares in the company already. So that's the difference between just going to a broker and saying, can I raise some money? Because most of the people who take part in placings don't care about the company. They just flip the stock and it drags the stock. So the what's held eEnergy share price down, in my belief, is that people realise, they probably need to raise money. And they have done that now. So hopefully that worry will have gone. And if you look at the metrics, there's a lot of good metrics in there. Unfortunately, when you acquire companies, a lot of adjusted metrics, which I don't like. And, this can be some kind of manipulation. But overall, there's very good growth, and they're in a very hot space. Like I said, their revenue's got by 63 million to 22 million, adjusted EBITDA of 3 million, which is up 264%. And going forward, they've got a contracted book of 25 million, which is now larger than the market cap of the company, which is 22 million. So it's a very hot area. They're growing at every metrics. It'd be interesting to see what happens on Monday as the market opens. Because at the moment, the biggest worry for any company is not having cash flow or not having enough cash. Because at the it's a crazy market. Even the central banks are risk averse. The central banks are tightening. They're raising. I just don't think. I think in about 6 months' time we'll be in trouble. I do. I think we'll see deflation in 6 months' time. Prices going down. That's what I think. And that's a bit worrying. Because and do you understand why deflation's worrying, boys?
Oh, every night.
Yeah. Do you, Steve?
Not really. No.
Okay, well, I'll give you an example. You said you bought some stuff on Black Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you do that?
It was cheap.
It's cheap, yeah? And that's a one-off event. Now, you imagine on a Black Friday every day. So it gets cheaper the next day. Then I'm not going to... Well, would you buy anything?
Well, I guess deflation is good with food because obviously you've got to keep buying food. So if it keeps going down in price...
You're right. So there's discretionary items and non-discretionary. So stuff you need to buy, like food and energy. That's good if that goes down. But if non-discretionary stuff, stuff like white goods, cars, houses, all that stuff, if that starts going down in price, and you realise it's going down in price, on a regular basis over the 6 to 12 months, why would you buy now? No one's going to buy anything. And that would push the prices down even further. So then you got a downward spiral. It gets really scary then because all asset prices go down. Because they realise, I'm not going to buy anything. And then basically the economy seizes up because no one's buying anything. And I think we're more more the chance of that happening over the next 12 months now, unless the central banks unwind and start reducing interest rates. And I think that will happen next year. Interest rates will start coming down towards the second half of next year. And then I think the markets will rally very strongly. I think they'll probably have a rally before that because they'll see that happening. There's, in fact, the bonds are priced in like that anyway. So, but like I said, that's the state of the market at the moment. Everything's tightened up. Talk about liquidities where lots of money in the market. There's, it's amazing how fast it flips from a bull market to a bear market. In a bull market, people are chucking money at you because there's easy money out there. It's very cheap capital. Interest rates are very low. It's very cheap. It's like too much water. You've got too much water. You're giving water away. And all of a sudden, people switch the taps off. And they go, oh, hang on a sec. Give me that water back. So not only do you have people not giving away water, you have people grabbing water back, and then it becomes a scarce item, and that's the way.
Random fact: did you know they only cancelled the hosepipe ban this week?
I know. Have you seen I don't know about your weather, but literally our garden was sodding. It was like water, and I said,
I'm not using a hosepipe this week. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yes, I thought, that's convenient because I can't see me using that when actually what I need to water is underwater anyway. So I don't need to wash the car or anything because it's constantly peeing down. In fact, Gary next door has built a house next door to us. He's been trying to fit a gas pipe, and literally he's put in...
Oh, the new one.
Yeah, he's literally put in a trench, up to the house, and the trench is about, I don't know what, 2-3 feet deep. It's full of water, and he's had to pump water out all the time.
They didn't put a gas pipe in when they built the house.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I don't know.
That smacks of a bad build quality, I've got to be honest. No,
Gary, he built another house. It's lovely quality. I know they looked at it, but I think he's trying to get in there before Christmas. No, I think he put the pipe down first, but then they connected it, and then I don't know what happened. I don't know.
Oh, right, I see.
Yeah. But then they get the house ready, and then they had to open it back up the trench. They did put it down because I remember he put tarmac on the pavement outside that was dug up. So I don't know why they had to open the trench up to the house.
Yeah, utilities, eh?
Yeah, but then literally it filled up with water. There's like 2 or 3 foot of water there. Go, it's a good job there's a hosepipe ban on, isn't it? But literally, and he tried. He got one. He had to get the pipe. This is ironic. He was using our hosepipe over the summer until the ban came in. In fact, he gave us a couple of quid for that because he was using it so much for the building. And then and last week he was using the opposite of a hosepipe. He had one of those pumps that are pushing water out of the trench.
To give you the water back.
Yeah, dirty water.
Alanis Morissette would love that.
Why is that? Ironic, yeah. Isn't it ironic? Yeah.
So the Boom Battle Bar thing opened, did it?
Yes. So I couldn't go for family reasons. It was a bit of a sad family reason, but I won't tell you that. But I was invited to the VIP of the Boom Battle Bar, which is like a...
Did you get my invite pads?
No, I didn't get them.
No.
Did you get them, Steve?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, apparently it was very busy, and they said already pretty much...
It wasn't?
It was, yeah, and they said when I went there, when I was going to go, they said pretty much all the games are pretty much booked up with celebs and all this, or people with, I don't know, celebs. What is
celebs?
Well,
that's probably because they got it all for free. So like their opening days.
Oh, man, like Callum Best throwing axes.
Yeah. Well, people like that who, who literally, got a good social media footprint. Was jam-packed there, but that opened in Oxford Street, and it's a flagship store. It's a phenomenal amount of stores they've opened, isn't it? From going back when they acquired it last November, it's a year now since they acquired Boom Battle Bar, and they went from 6 Boom Battle Bars now to 26 in a year, which is a phenomenal rate of opening. Of course, a lot of those are franchisees, but Oxford Street is not. It's an owned and operated. But expecting good things from that. It's like 15,000 square feet in Oxford Street. That's quite big, isn't it? Very big. Talking about big stores, Pad. The first time ever I went to a Premiership game with Monty. Tottenham, of course, against Liverpool. Tottenham lost.
Yeah, obviously.
But the new stadium and the store is massive, that store. I walked in, I expected this to be like a corner shop size, with lots of stuff hanging off, little hooks and stuff. It was massive, like 2 floors, pretty much, split level, and everything. And you realise the power of the superstar player on merch. And I think, Manchester United and Ronaldo, they're going to lose some shirt sales there, aren't they? But I mean, everywhere in there, pretty much. I had a cane top on. You can get Rubik's Cubes, Monopoly, jewellery, all Spurs branded, everything, from anything you want. But all the sort of Korean people in there, loads of Korean people in there. All with Son tops on, and every one of them. And you thought, wow, you'd see if a player wasn't that good, but had been good for a long time, you'd be reluctant to get rid of them, wouldn't you? Just on merchandise sales, because they must shift a lot. Because you imagine all that Monty, wants a cane top, and he's got a cane top. But I mean, all the kids and all that stuff, it's phenomenal, isn't it? Draw. And you imagine some of the people who want a Ronaldo Manchester United top. Now he's gone. Who's the next superstar player? It's amazing, isn't it? How it counts to. I don't know what the revenue take is. What's the merchandise?
They make a lot of money. Yeah, Spurs make a lot on the match day, far more than most other clubs, I think, just because of the ability to, like in the stadium, they can serve beer a lot quicker than most other stadiums.
Yeah,
and they've got so many concessions and stands to serve you food that are, in a lot of stadiums, maybe not in the Premiership, but in a lot of stadiums in the lower leagues, you're lucky to get a pie and a sandwich or something. And at Spurs, you can have a curry, or you can have a Nando's, or you can have it's proper. So yeah, like they make. I mean, that stadium was £1 billion, so it's going to take a little while to pay it back. But on a match day, I think they make 2 or 3 times what some other clubs make.
Yeah. And when you mentioned that, I forgot. You mentioned about the pint glasses that fill from the bottom.
Yeah.
And I thought,
how have they not taken off more? Because they were around years ago, and it was like, oh, that's a good invention, but I've never seen them anywhere. But obviously, they're doing it.
It's a lot of faff to get the infrastructure in, I think, and they've had to redo them all. I suppose the first lot they put in didn't work, so they've changed it a bit. So now it works a bit better. So I'd imagine it wasn't cheap, but yeah, it definitely means you can serve a full pint in 10 seconds, and you don't have to stand there watching it. It just does it for you.
And I guess perfect head as well.
Well, I imagine them starting off trying that and then literally, not getting it right, and literally a stream of beer coming straight at the bottom into your face, into the server's face.
The first weekend was a nightmare. I went to one of the first matches, and literally there were people going around saying, like watching for people who were going to stick their fingers up the hole and saying to them, mate, please don't. And then inevitably they did, and then there'd be a little man following around with a mop to mop it up.
Yeah, I suppose, because if you create a new system there, like I said, if you're one of the only systems, or not many systems like that, it's going to be problems, and it's quite expensive, isn't it? You have the same glasses. You can't just have any old glass. You can't just get a job lot of cheap plastic glasses in from somewhere.
So hang on a minute. So can you actually just push up from the bottom, and the beer will just literally evacuate?
Yeah. It's like a magnet. Yeah.
Well, that's going to be a nightmare then, because people are like. Can you imagine lads going out? They're just going to constantly be like emptying their mate's beer onto the floor as a joke, won't they?
I'm assuming this is why the people don't use them very often. I'd imagine, like in the away end, it's probably chaos. But Spurs fans have got over this now, and so we're just used to it. And we've learnt that sticking 2 fingers up the hole is only limited fun.
Yeah. Cool. Oh, by the way, just quickly on when you get back to eEnergy there, when you look at results, you want to see how does this play out. I mean, in the results, they do say they're in line with this year's expectations, and of course, the year starts the 1st of July and runs to June next year. So we're in 2023, and expectations, I think Harvey said, are in. Let me just check. Results rise. I think they are expected. The positive start full year 2023 underpins current market expectations for this year, and current market expectations, by the way, are 30 million, up from 22 million top line, with EBITDA of 5 million and adjusted pre-tax profit of 4.1. So it's even though it's going to be a little bit not happy with the bond and the fundraise, because of course bonds cost money. Money costs money now. Money costs money. That's it. With interest rates, it costs money. And if you're going to get a mortgage, you'll know about that. If you're going to get a car loan, you'll know about that. Before, money was pretty much cheap or free. This day is not, and that's the problem. That's what. Have you any of you boys had a remortgage or do anything like that, or go?
Yes, very recently.
Oh, really? Did you get away with it?
Well, yeah, because mine was remortgaged last month. I think I've already told you this, have I not?
No, you went to it, Rusty.
No, okay. Yeah, no, I remortgaged last month, but I had the renewal through in like April, and I was quite lucky that I just literally got it and went renew, got the best rate I could, and just did it back in April for it like in advance, and then obviously it kicked in last month. So I got a really good rate on it, and also I've just
what was the rate?
2 points.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it was really low.
Oh, I know someone could beat that, Steve. A friend of ours there literally renewed, but all this crazy costs went on. They renewed for 5 years, fixed 1.75.
Yeah,
about a year, about 9 months ago.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, when I looked at it, I was like, oh my God, this has gone up so much since my last thing. But I was like, do you know what? I'm just going to do it because I think, and obviously it was the right thing to do when I did it back in April. But I've done it for the entire, right to the end of my mortgage now. So I've done a 7-year fixed. Yeah. And that's it now. I don't have to worry about my price going up at all until I pay off my mortgage.
At what? 2.1?
Pay it off now.
Yeah.
Just walk into the shop, Steve, with a white wedge full of cash. Yeah, I'll put my mortgage off. Yeah, look at it. Look at that cash I got there.
Yeah, the thing is, though, if I invest the money, I'll make. Oh, hang on a minute. No, I won't.
Yeah. No, do you know what? Honestly, I'm at the moment I'm very hacked off the market. But times like these, you know, if you look at it on a logical sense, if you had no money invested here, we are coming towards the end of the central bank's tightening policy. They've announced the Fed, for example, everything revolves around the Fed pretty much. All central banks pretty much follow them. They're ahead of everyone else. But they've announced now their rate hikes are probably going to go down. So they're still going to hike, but they've been doing sort of 0.75 basis point, 0.75%, and now it's probably going to go down to 0.5, and then after that 0.25. So we are towards the end, and that's a sort of good sign. You know, it's we're seeing.
So do you reckon I've got a remortgage in next October? So do you reckon by then things might be back to something vaguely normal?
October, yeah, well, a year away, probably. I do think, there's a lot of, not just me. I mean, I'm also reading consensus about, people who know about these things more than me. They're thinking, the bond prices. They're thinking they'll be easing end of next year. They reckon.
When you say go back to how they were, they're not going to go back to how they were.
No. They won't go to nothing. No, I mean the target rate. Listen, they've always been super cheap. The target rate for pretty much interest and inflation is pretty around about 2%. So they probably want to get back to that. Inflation. They should be around about the same amount. Inflation and
so I think I've been on because I wasn't in employment. I had to just go to their basic standard thing. So I've been at 3 point something for the last 2 mortgage rounds.
Yeah.
So for me, that would be that would be fine to stick or something like that.
Yeah,
if that's possible.
Well, the thing is, I think a downturn in unemployment, all that stuff's a lagging factor. There's people saying now there won't be a deep recession, maybe in the UK. In fact, it's not getting. In fact, we should get into that. They're saying now the UK. Did you see those figures? If I think back to it, it was the UK is the only country in the G7 that hasn't expanded its economy since pre-pandemic. And we're also going to be, of a deeper recession, which is, farcical, really. I don't know what's going on there. Part of me does think, we got 2 accountants in charge, and I think we need, someone with a bit of, and that's a good thing to be. It's being sensible, yes, but there's also room for growth policy. Now, trust was one side, crazy growth. Let's not pay any debt. Don't worry about that. We haven't got any money to fund that. Growth. Spend money, and then Richie and Hunt are like the other way. Save, put the money up. Where's it's either one extreme or the other. Let's have a bit of both. Is it? Let's go for growth, but also in a sensible way. And it doesn't seem to be happening, does it? It's driving me insane.
Do you not think that the way Richie and Hunt are doing it at the moment is probably the sensible way because it's so bad the other way at the moment? They need to correct it a bit.
No,
but Sasha's way wasn't the only way for growth. She literally, there are many routes to growth.
Yes.
Most random ideological BS.
Okay.
Went down that path.
There is a way of incentivizing business to invest. I mean, if you're trying to incentivize a sector, an industry to invest, right, that you're not taking tax from already, then you give them some incentives and tax breaks, to bring the money in. So it's not as if it's reducing your tax take, because over the years, if that industry becomes bigger and better, and if you start investing or giving tax breaks or incentives to renewables or innovation and all that massive in it, then hopefully down the road you'll be earning good tax from that. So, and I didn't see a lot of that really, and nothing new in Hunt's statement. I was like, come on. Where's the brain? Where's the ambition here? What can the UK be a leader in? What can we?
He said on TV, he said on Sky News yesterday, he wants Britain to be the new Silicon Valley. That's his ultimate aim. But and Beth Rigby she's quite a bad interview. I find
Beth Rigby dreadful. I find her very
ordinary. She stutters what she's saying, and she doesn't let them. There's a big thing about stopping them from talking rubbish, but you do have to let them have 30 seconds to say something. But he was saying he wants us to become Silicon Valley. That's great, fantastic. And the point she tried to make back to him, but didn't really get it out clearly, was that cool. Well, you said this before Brexit, or he didn't, but the people who Brexit did. We've had 6 years now to try and do some of that. We've not done any of it. Why should we believe that you're going to succeed in the medium term future? Productivity has to be the route to growth. They have to attack productivity on a sort of war footing. They have to do absolutely everything imaginable to get productivity up. And they're not doing anything. They're giving tax cuts to banks, and that's it.
Yeah, I don't understand. Do you know what annoyed me? Now, I'm traditionally probably. I wouldn't call myself a Tory because I'll vote for a company that I think is going to help the economy the most. And for a while I thought that was the Conservatives, and now I'm starting to wobble because even from my stance I see the criticisms of the government. Now I did watch Prime Minister's Questions Time, right? And Keir Starmer asked pretty much, Rishi Sunak about non-domicile, about billionaires not paying tax here because they pay a certain amount of money. And there was a report out saying apparently if they'd scrapped that, it would have been 3.2 billion for the government. And he addressed it about 5 times, Keir Starmer. And now, and Rishi didn't actually answer once, didn't address it once. And I thought, mate, genuinely, I'm going to go at Rishi, I'm just thinking, genuinely, give us the pros of keeping non-dom and why you decide to do it. Otherwise, people are just going to think, because your wife was a non-dom, you are literally, supporting rich people and you are backing up rich people. Now, it looks like that to me, and I'm not a staunch Labour voter, so it's going to look like that to everyone. So give us the reason why you're not scrapping non-dom, please, because I can't see the benefits of having non-dom. If it's going to help the tax coffers, then scrap it, full stop. So I don't know, there's lots of things going on, I think. Well, I think
it goes back to this rubbish that billionaires are wealth creators, that just because they're in your country and they're rich, they're going to therefore help the economy. I don't think there's any evidence for that. And I don't think non-dom status was set up for that either. I think this is a really long, really old tax regulation that was built in to solve some problem in the 40s or 50s, and it's just been extrapolated to now in the modern world where there's lots of rich people flying all over the place.
Yeah. Well,
I can't see any benefit to Rishi Sunak's rich wife being here and not paying any tax. That doesn't help the economy.
Well, she does pay tax now, doesn't she?
Yeah, they had to because it called out basically. But I don't know where the London School of Economics sit and political science. I don't know where they sit on the political spectrum. Okay, but there was a report out saying that taxing this income would raise more than 3.2 billion in additional tax revenue each year, and also remove the current disincentive to invest in the UK, refuting concerns that abolishing non-dom stations could lead to mass exodus from the UK. Researchers calculate about only 0.3% of those affected would leave the country, fewer than 100 people, most of whom are paying hardly any tax under the current regime. So that research suggests these billionaires wouldn't go abroad, they've been living here for a long time, they're enjoying it, it's a lifestyle, they got a lot of money, it wouldn't bother them too much, and they'd still invest in it. So if that's the case, and I don't think if that is the case, but I just want to, I want to hear.
But we're still only taxing them on income, right? It's not that we're there's a whole other argument that we should be taxing wealth, and that should definitely happen. But we're only taxing their income. It's not like they're suddenly going to lose their entire wealth because of changing that rule.
Yeah. But you see, it's not hard to be a world beater, a world leader, I think. You just look around the world, see what other countries are doing that's very clever, and you copy it. Even that thing from France, you said that from France recently. If you have more than 80 car park spaces in your business, over the next 5 years, you have to put solar panels across the car parks. Think of that. If you have, I think, go a step further in this country. If you have a building that's like a supermarket-sized building, then you have to have solar on it in the next 5-10 years. It's not a rush, but you have to be going towards that. That way, it reduces the national grid energy. It also, having to create that many solar panels, you'll get improvements in the system. You'll become innovators in solar panels. You'll find better technologies. Like I said, wind farms. We are the biggest in the world. We have 11 of the 20th biggest offshore wind farms. Unfortunately, they're owned by us. But when we, invest in that area and become world beaters in that space, create new technology, make them better. I just think that just incentivize where we are going. We are going towards renewables. 40% now of the UK electricity is generated by renewables. It's not going away. That is going to grow over the next 5-10 years. So let's lean towards that. Let's get into it. Put some more money into it. Be innovators. Be leaders in that field. Because it's only because other countries are still way behind. And if they're going to come for anyone to have advice, they're going to come to the world leaders. So then we can outsource this skill as well. So it just makes sense to me to really, incentivize that area. Go for it, rather than just sitting back and hoping things will happen. Do you see that heat pumps? That we are one of the world's least innovative. In fact, did you see that programme I sent you a while back on the BBC pad, but two guys from London doing up homes, going around and looking at different heat pumps? This is one heat pump, they went to this new build. It was phenomenal. It cost 50 quid a year. That's all it cost to heat your home. It was brilliant. He said, what, 50 quid a month? He said, no, a year. And it's like, it was the size, I'd say not smaller than the average, combi boiler you put on your wall in the kitchen. It was smaller than that. It was phenomenal. I thought, wow.
Is a heat pump, I don't really understand, is a heat pump just effectively a giant kettle which is heated by electricity rather than gas? Is that pretty much all it is?
I don't know how it works. No. It's like a box of magic. It sucks in the air and then heats. I don't know.
It's about heat. It's like heat exchange, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like an air conditioner that works on reverse.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So you have that. It doesn't heat the house, so you do have to change the way you I don't think you can have radiators. You do have to change the way your house is heated as well.
Right, so it blows air rather than like radiators. Yeah, it blows air. Air. Right, okay.
I just googled it. So a heat pump captures heat from outside and moves it into your home. It uses electricity to do this. However, the quantity of heat delivered into your home is much greater than the quantity of electricity used to power the system. It sounds very magic. I don't know how it works. Literally, it can leverage up, the heat. I don't understand even if there's coal outside. How do they do that? I don't understand. It's a box of magic. It really is.
So yeah, it's about heat. So even if it's like -2 outside, if that's warmer than the chemical inside it, that's minus whatever, then that's still a heat. That's still an increase in heat. So it can turn. I don't know, something like that.
It's very clever, isn't it?
That's why they cost so much money.
Yeah, but they'll come down.
If you're saying to a housing developer, right, you can build these new houses on this greenbelt land, you say to them, right, great, you can do that, but you're going to put solar panels on all the roofs. They're all going to be pointed southeast so that they get the sun all during the day. They're all going to have heat pumps in them. They're all going to be, you just make that stipulation, and slowly but surely you take the pressure off the national grid. You allow people to become a bit more self-sufficient in energy. They get more money in their pocket. Like the upside are infinite, and it doesn't cost the government anything.
I know. I don't know why they've not done that so far, like the solar panels alone.
Yeah, and also say you have to invest in the heat pumps. You have to put heat pumps in there and also help this industry, that kind of thing. Give them incentive, taxpayers incentive to invest in that kind of industry, and that they afford the technology and make it even better, going forward. So there's these house builders are chucking out a lot of cash, and if they want to invest in a company, it's good for them. It's good for the sector. As long as there's no exclusivity deals and all that going on, it's very transparent. It would help the sector. So that kind of thing, can be done easily. And in the end, you would be getting tax from an area which you didn't previously have tax on. So I don't know, just moving forward a bit with that, I think is worth doing it. Pat, did you take part in Black Friday?
No.
Steve, did you, Steve? My wife's been taking part in Black Friday for the last month, I think.
Your wife's been messaging me all morning about New York.
Yeah. What did
she wants to go.
I didn't know
she wants me to pick her a hotel in New York.
Hang on a sec, she's married to me.
Yeah. How much money has he got for this trip? Are you going on this trip?
Yeah, does your missus know about this?
Do you want me to pick the most expensive one? Because that's usually the easiest option.
She's obviously got a budget, but I said the thing is, Megan's a bit of a perfectionist. She wants to get it. She looks at everything. She reads about hundreds of reviews and then gets down to the negative one at the bottom. Oh, I don't like that.
I do that.
And I think I said, any one of these hotels, if they got 4.5-star reviews and several thousand reviews, it's going to be decent as long as you're within that Manhattan area, whatever. You're walking distance, it's fine. But she goes, too much in detail, and she gets herself in a bit of a stress about it. Calm down, it's fine.
Yeah, no, I'm the same. I get option paralysis with hotels.
Yeah, I know. But at the end of the day, as long as it's got several thousand, decent reviews, I think it's fine. Just look at a couple of pictures. Is it within budget? Yes. Book. Full stop. Take the stress out of it. Okay. Steve, what did you? One more thing. What did Steve buy on Black Friday? Steve, tell us, man.
Well, I bought a few work things. I won't bore you with that, but I did buy some new LED strip for my kitchen because my old stuff is slowly dying. So I'll redo all that. What else did I buy? I bought a pair of waterproof walking shoes.
Oh, cool!
Nice. Yeah. I'm going to go and pick them up today.
You can come and trek some mountains with us next time.
Well, I already have walking boots, but these are more general, like if it's raining and I'm outside and I want to go for a walk. So I've got all other waterproof, but apart from the shoes. And what else did I buy? Oh, a trolley. I bought myself a little trolley. That's kind of work related.
Like a Safeway trolley.
A little garden trolley.
You get those for £1, as I see.
A camping trolley, which,
that's one of the things that kept me. Honestly, it was for me, that mountain walk we did was just pure misery, and I hated it. The only thing that made me laugh, right, and it kept making me laugh, and it was like, almost Charlie Chaplin-esque, was Pete kept slipping with his new shoes. And he just said, somebody almost goes in their backside. And literally, that's the only thing that tickled me, an entire thing. And Pete kept doing it, and I think it annoyed him. They kept laughing at him, but that almost kept me going. The fact that it wasn't a sponsorship money or anything like that. Just Pete slipping on his new shoes because he did have a pair of shoes, and then he wanted to get what I got, and then they got up in price, and he kept slipping on his new shoes. But he got a bit of noise about that. It was funny. Okay, that's it. Anything else, boys? Anything on TV? Steve watched I'm a Celeb. Have you watched any of that, Pad? I'm a Celeb.
No, I absolutely hate it.
And me. Oh, let's get the kangaroo cock. Casey the kangaroo cock.
It's only marginally better than Britain's Got Talent, but both of them for me are some of the worst TV I can't stand it.
I never watch it, I must admit. I haven't watched it for years, and the only reason I was vaguely interested in watching it this year just to see the whole reaction with Matt Hancock, and also interested to see what Chris Moyles and Boy George. I don't know. I'm just interested to see how they reacted in there, and I think they've all reacted. It's all come out exactly how I imagined. So I wasn't really watching it for the show, if I'm honest.
I did find Chris Moyles is very odd on TV, isn't he? He's got this very blank, really dark, really odd fake smile, dark eyes, like shark eyes, almost like you don't believe him. He's like he's not genuine. I did find it fun. The only thing I found funny what he said is I can't believe Matt Hancock is more popular than me because Matt Hancock's still in there. Chris Moyles has come out and. So I did go on.
He's just a bit. He's never come across well on TV. Chris Moyles, is he?
He's odd. He's very odd. Yeah, I think Steve Wright also is a bit there. That's why Steve Wright didn't do any TV, but also he got massively overweight and lost his hair and all that. But so he said he didn't do TV. But but I did see someone about Boy George. Matt Hancock came in and Boy George was outraged by that. Because my nan, suffered. I think she even died during the COVID lockdown, and Matt Hancock was responsible. I did see someone on Twitter said, "Hang on. Boy George, you chained a man to a radiator and beat him up in your apartment, and you were outraged by Matt Hancock disappearing in a game show." So hang on a sec, So we are. I'm still liking Gangs of London, Steve. I mean, you should watch that, Pat, if you can. Sky Atlantic.
Are you on series 2 yet?
Yeah, I would say it's a little bit over the top. They are blowing up London on a regular basis.
I've not got season 2 yet, so I'm holding off.
They literally are gangs blowing up parts of London almost. It's like, there's no gang out there like that with military-grade weapons and bombs. They're phenomenal, but it's good scenes. It's very well done. The fight scenes are very good. Elliot is the man, isn't he? He's a fighter, unbelievable fighter he is. But it's worth watching, but it's a bit over the top, but scary and very gruesome.
Do you know that, in season 1 where they blew up that house?
Yeah.
In the countryside?
Yeah. Oh, the start where, literally.
No, wasn't it? Was that the start?
Oh, well, no, it was a couple of, you're right.
A couple of episodes in.
Literally.
That was all shot in Wales, and that house, they custom built that house to blow it up. It wasn't like an old cottage or anything. It was actually blown up. Yeah. Completely built for the thing. It was amazing. Yeah,
it's phenomenal, because it was a Swedish special forces or something. They came out, they're tracking down one guy, and they came out of the middle of the countryside, fully equipped with the best automatic weapons, hand grenades, everything, all kinds of kit. And literally just walked out of this bush, about 20 of them, with his gun just shooting. I think, my word, this is phenomenal. And that house was obviously pre-equipped as well with bomb blast. They just pull the lever and the bomb blast protection come down. It was a bit over the top, I know, but it is good. It is very well filmed, isn't it? It's very well done. Yeah. I know, but it's worth a watch, that. And anything you've been watching, Pad?
Andor.
Andor
on
what?
Disney.
What is Andor?
It's a spin-off from Star Wars.
Oh, sod that.
It is really good, though.
I hate sci-fi.
It's not really about Star Wars. It's just about now. It's just about right-wing idiots and fascism and trying to beat them.
Oh, okay.
I'm quite intrigued to watch that new season on Netflix, The Addams Family, Wednesday. That looks...
The Addams Family? What is going on? Paddy's on Disney, you're on The Addams Family. What's going on here? I like real stuff, like people blowing up London. That's real, Check that out. That's no sci-fi.
It's just similar. It's just people blowing up other planets.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, have a nice weekend, boys. Yeah. Speaking next week, hopefully.
The Share Pickers Weekend Podcast with Justin, Paddy, Peter and Steve. The content of this podcast is not intended as investment advice. It is for information purposes only. People in this podcast may hold positions in the stocks they talk about. Do not buy anything based solely on a tip or recommendation. Please do your own research.